And that's pretty much it. Okay, so is it recording? Yes. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing great. Today we have lots of things to cover. So that's why without any further delay, please make sure that you are inside the Visual Studio environment. And at the same time, I have already sent you a code belongs to the previous session. So please make sure that you can copy that and bring it to your Visual Studio. Give it a shot, run it, and see if everything works fine. And after that, just give me a signal. Thank you. The code is inside the Telegram. And those who do not have Telegram, that was the code that I have already shared, the last file in the course content. If you go to the course content, you see that that's the last file that we have there. And I'm going to add you to the group. Okay, you're not in that group, right? Okay, I'm going to add you in a sec. Hopefully, add here, Sergey. Sergey, can you please send me a hi in Telegram if you don't mind? Thank you. Okay, now you should be. Actually, you have a high security level. So yes, I sent you the link. Okay. If you look at that, what we actually did in the previous session was defining a class. You see that? One can just bring this down a little bit. You can see it clearly, right? Yeah. Awesome. So look at this one. Whenever you want to make an object, you need to have a blueprint, right? And that blueprint is that class. You see that the name of the class is what? Rectangle. So it is ready to just stand and create lots of things based on that stack. What we are gonna do here, the first line, we say rectangle, big rect. It's like saying int a. But in the next line, we say what? Guys, these two lines, it's like defining just the object. Whenever you say new, it's the point that you occupy memory for it. Is it clear? So before that, you just have a promise. You say, hey, I want to have a rectangle. It's like a wish. But when you say new, you already have the memory allocation for it. And then, guys, you have a desk named rectangle, and it has two drawers. Initially, there is nothing inside them, right? When you create an object, nothing is inside them, right? In those two lines, you say big rect dot length, open the drawer of length, put number 8 inside, open the width drawer, put 5 inside it. Is it clear? Awesome. Look at the next part. You just, guys, instead of instead of just directly saying A multiply B, you just say, hey, can you please open that drawer, go to big rect, open the length drawer, just one step more. Guys, nothing is sophisticated or complicated here. Just one step more. You say, hey, please go to that object, open the drawer. You're going to find 8 inside it, multiply the same table, the same object, go to the width drawer and multiply them and keep it there. And you just show it. For doing the rest, for going through the rest of the code, let's go to the definition. Here, instead of passing, you remember, whenever we want to make, for instance, we wanted to calculate a square, my square. You remember we had it in the previous semester? We passed int a or int number, and we return num times num, something like that. So what we received was just a simple variable. But here, what we received is what? Is exactly the same thing, but it's an object. And that object is not any object. It has some drawers. Is it clear? Like passing, instead of saying int a, receive a, please, we say receive rectangle, but it's not any rectangle. It has please open this drawer, its length inside it, and open the other one, which it has width in it. And then we say width, rect.width, the drawer, and so on. Guys, 100% clear the concept? Huh? Lovely. Look at the next part. We create something and the name is quiet. I received comment that, guys, hey, Reza, why you just make it like, I just wanted to make sure that it is self-descriptive, calculate and display area rectangle. We do not return anything, so that is why we have void. We pass another, again, object. We say, hey, rect.widths multiply rect. It could be any 100 objects based on rectangle that you create. You can pass them to this function. It's going to take them. It's going to open the drawers and multiply them and show you the area of it. And the last one is create. The last is the best. I very much like it. It takes to, what's your name? Sorry. Jessia. It takes, instead of taking an object this time, it takes one integer. We consider it as the width. We take another integer. We consider it as the length. And then we are going to say, hey, dear rectangle, create one object for me. Okay, I create. So, do we have any widths and length for it yet? Hello. This is the second time that you come late. Make it the last time. Then we are going to say rect dot width is equal to width and rect dot length equal to what? Length. Lovely. So open the drawer, put those values. Before that, we didn't have anything inside them. Huh? And now the object is ready. What should we do? Nothing bad, Sir Reza. We just return them. Return the object. And that is why, look at the object. It says that static rectangle. It didn't say static void. It didn't say static integer, and so on. Right? Guys, 100%, is it clear? Not at all. So now talk to your neighbor and explain what you learned from this. Make sure that it works, please. Thank you. How are you going? That's good, right? How are you आप मजाक करें okay a friend at the end. Do you want to join, Lokan? Oh, Lokan, sorry, Lokan. Why I always don't Chokan and Kalun. Yes, Kalun. I just mixed both names, not to. Okay, so guys, let's guess. Should be flip. Should be flip. Yes, look. Yeah. You haven't trusted your prof yet, right? Okay. So let's go to the next part. Everyone, now I mentioned this one is a bit, if you see here, I mentioned this one is a bit complete version. Huh? First thing first, I'm going to do something, and this is super important. That's going to be part of our quiz. And I want you, well, similar to this, and I want you to pay attention. Is there anything new here? We define a class, Sherry. The class is the same as what it was before, Andy. And then we are gonna create, look at here. We're gonna create a big rect. And then when we say new, I am not sure why we use parentheses there. But we are gonna see. Is it the same as this one, rectangle, rectangle? I don't know. And then here I say big rect. What do you think it's gonna show you if you run it? An object, right? With length and width. That's what we expect, right? It should. I'm gonna run, and it's going to show just the name of a class. Huh? Rectangle. Uh-oh, you have a situation. Guys, whenever you say console.writeLine A, and A is number 5, do you think that it's going to happen like this? 5 is integer. Console writeLine is to display what? Strings. Somebody should take care of that and saying that whatever the number is, don't worry. I'm going to bring it inside saying that is with me, string. Okay? Something like that. It is like overriding the role and saying that it is not an integer. Now treat it as a string. Does that make sense? For doing that, look at here. We are going to write something. Please pay attention. We say override string to string. This is the name of a method that's to string, and it's going to return a string. And we override the original to string that it has. The original one shows just the class name. And that's what we don't want. Everybody could follow? Everybody? That is why you say instead of showing the class name now, and you might say, Reza, is it possible just simply to say return if that's the question? Yes. But I wanted to just get to know a little bit of that. string.format $, the length is length, and the width is curly braces widths. And now, this time, if I run the code again, look at this one. It's going to show you the length is that and the width is that. And you might say, are you sure that is what you wrote? Let's just add some funky characters at the end. And then you're going to see, yes, it's going to be what you designed. The question, Arjun, please. Yes, exactly. That is the defaulted.
Right out like after the sentence and like string dot format the stuff dot toString.
Yes, toString is the function that we have.
Already
It's yes, it is. It's part of the object that we have. And it's not only for this one. We have it for integers. We have it for any class that you create. I can't tell now, but just quickly, I tell you, all of them goes to a higher class, the master class, and toString belongs to there. So that is why integers, floats, any class that you create, they have toString. Okay. Anyway, let's forget what I said. Look at this one, please. Now we have that. The rest of the things are similar. The only thing is here, I wish instead of saying new kind of rectangle, what if I just could say 2, 3, and 2 stays for length and 3 stays for width, and or the other way around. It was nicer, right? Instead of just initializing the values separately. Let's see if we have any solution for that. But anything not familiar? The only thing that we had was this one. I want you just to add this to your code. You already have the code. Please add this one. Modify the message plus show the content. That's it. Felipe, everything is fine. Can you hear me clearly? Okay, thank you very much. If there is any concern, any question, please let me know. A pleasure. Yes, Don? Yeah.
Sorry. To string function. Is it if we input the rectangle in the console, it's not enough to call the toString method? I mean, if we have like a toString method here in the rectangle, what you have done is put console dot white line rectangle. Is it smart enough if we put something in console dot white line, if you directly call the toString method, because it's like a method inside
Nice. Whatever is relevant to object that you create based on that class, it's going to just trigger that one for us.
Okay.
Whenever you pass that to, if it is the object, it says that anything that you create based on that class, right? And whenever you want to, instead of showing the name of a class, which is the default, you override it and it shows these things, right? Does that make sense? Yes, you had a question. Yeah. Okay, just restart it and then it happens. And then after that, see if it works. Don't worry. Okay, look at this one. And we are getting closer to, yeah, I asked you, you're going to have these files by tonight, plus updated marks for bonus marks, plus the quiz, plus the class activities that you have gone through. I received from one group. Thank you very much Jainam. And I think that the group contains Kanjan and Manav. Yes, awesome. And the other person as well. There were 4 people. Kanjan, Manav, 3, sorry. Okay. You see that I said if you delete that one, what's going to happen? And those friends that they didn't show up, and hopefully they're going to watch the recorded sessions. For me, it is very important to meet with you in person. I need to know who is capable of what. So please just make sure that you show up in the class. I see some of the names that I don't see them in the class. A few, but I see them. The thing is, the next question, the fun example that we have is here. So let's create a class. Let's create a class. And the next step would be a fat bonus mark for those who can make it. Let's have a class called tennis. And then we have 2 fields inside it. What are they? Tennis rackets, and then number of balls. And we have something that we call it public void my tennis game message. And if you call, it's going to show tennis is great. But whenever you create, let's go to the main after you define that. Whenever we get to the main, we create one object, and that is my tennis. And I use tennis equal to new. When new happens, you occupy the memory. And then you say my tennis game message. My question for you, I want you to, even if you are not into playing tennis, search for the tennis racket brand, whatever it is, define a brand for it, and how many balls are you going to carry to play in a court, define it, and override the message, guys. This is the bonus part. Override the message when you say console right line my tennis. It shows that my racket is whatever, and I bring 10 number of balls to the tennis courts. You got the point, right? Please. Copy the whole code again. I sent it to the group. Just open a new brand new project. Yes. So, are you in Telegram channel? Do you have Telegram application? So please just search my name. It's DR Reza. Go inside Telegram first. I'm gonna show you what to search for. And I'm gonna take care of it in the break, okay? But for now, just send a message to me, and that is the ID that you have to search. We are Reza, say, Nibaj, and no space. Nothing. Debugging J. There should be kind of some shape. So look at the search for search here, PR. Laser. PRVHAPI. You're gonna take care of the people. That's me, yes. Just say hi and I'm gonna just add you later. Okay, whoever could finish please. Indeed. First key. Okay. Anyone else? Even the list with this winter jacket on the chair, so it's not. You help the Centennial to sweep the floor. So. Bravo. Where is? Excellent. Okay, who else? It's not that difficult, guys. You can do it. And override. Cheap. Can we go to the main as well, please? Great. Merci. Okay. Last minute of attempt. Let me try my friends to be added to the group. Okay, could you find me? And Jordan, could you find me in the group in Telegram? Just say hi, there or one, send something. Santiago, you have the group, so please just click on it. You're gonna join the group then.
Yes.
Awesome,
Thank you.
no worries. Okay. Listen to me. As many of you already did, I just did something like this. I said return string.format, and then my tennis racket is the tennis racket that you pass, and the number of balls that I normally carry is the number of balls that I mentioned here. Definitely we need to open the drawer for two of the values. One of them is tennis racket. We say, hey, my tennis racket, and I used head. What was your choice, Sam? Well, seriously, you have Apple as well, huh? Okay, good. At least in one case, you're good. So, yes, head is for Djokovic. So just remember. And the number of balls is 6, and then we have asterisks, and then we say, okay, if you say, now open my tennis, it's going to show you that override message, right? Override function. That's pretty much what we want. And again, guys, don't worry, you're gonna have the whole code by tonight. The idea is, okay, let me just, we had already a casualty in this class, and I saw that in some of the faces, that when you have class with me, those people who had previous semester, they know we are gonna go through tons of examples. You have two feelings. One is, oh, my goose is cooked. I can't cope with the speed of the class. I give you all the rights to think that way. But the thing is, the second possibility is I'm gonna challenge myself and start from the scratch. Don't worry, you have time. It's just week number 2. And the reality is, we don't have time the way that going to learn everything from scratch. We are going to have an agile strategy. Means that, hey, I need a loop and I don't know how to make. Just Google it, how to create a loop. Watch one YouTube. You just need to put jigsaw puzzle pieces together to create a picture. And the more that you practice, automatically, without even knowing, you're gonna see that your hands are gonna work skillfully and type the code for you. But it needs just perseverance. And the only thing that you do not have right about is giving up. Just tell yourself that today is gonna be another day. Let's go to the integer class. I told you, and I said, please write it somewhere. I said everything in C# is either class or object, and you had the right to tell me that there is a command. How about integer? When you say that int a equal to 5, where is the class? Where is the object? And look at here. To keep my promise, whenever you say int a equal to 5, it's just a shorthand of saying int num equal to new, num in parentheses, and say num is equal to 5. It's just a shorthand of this format. And if you search for Java, it is going to show you something like the next example. But for now, everybody, please try this one and see if it works. Does it work? Lovely. What if you want to add more capabilities like this one? Look, I tried to pass 100 and I was not successful. So something is fishy. I don't know, but this is the other class, guys. Intentionally, there are lots of unknown things here. And again, intentionally, I provided even the most sophisticated form of that. I share this one with you in a class in the Telegram group. Please copy that. Huh? And see what is happening. And now it's the time for you. Whatever you learn, please share with your friends. Everything is fine. Yes. I don't know. The other name is getter setter. Do you know about it? So whenever the course get to that part, because I don't know, you're gonna just teach. Yeah, okay. Why not? That's a good question, actually. Think about the meaning of get and the meaning of set. Wow, lots of complicated things. Man, I'm just a beginner. Can I have your attention? Here we have some of the stuff, get set. I have seen it. Some people might say getter setter kind of thing. We have something here. What? Why the name of this? Is it a function? Or what? Is it a method? So if it is a method, then why it doesn't have any return value? It's a broken method, huh? Or what? Okay, guys, there are lots of things here that I don't know, but little by little, we are gonna understand what is happening. And the good news for today is, at least for this part, at the end of today, we are gonna be the master of it. Why? We have a kind of broken method, which doesn't return anything. Let's go to the next parts together. But before anything else, what was it? No, return by value, reference, value, and thank you for coffee. Oh, I wrote it accidentally as well. Image. Let's see. Okay, let's click on that. Just keep this in mind. We are gonna get there in no time. Look at this one. Hey, We talked that anything needs a memory location when you want to put the value in. So like if it is an integer, you're gonna have 4 bytes to put the value inside it. Does that make sense, everybody? When you say int a equal to 10, it's not gonna happen randomly like this. It means that, hey, I'm going to dedicate 4 bytes of memory and I'm gonna put value like 10 inside that. Does that make sense? And you might say, hey, Reza, our computer cannot understand 10. Definitely. That is why in computer, we are going to have, please, we are going to have something like this. You remember we had it in the previous semester. This is going to be 1, 2, 4, and what is the next one? Lovely, 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 1, 2 to the power of 2, 2 to the power of 3. And we have 1, 8, and 1, 2, which makes 10 in decimal. Does that make sense? It's in the 2. Sorry, it should be parentheses, but it looks like anything but parentheses. Anyway, so you're gonna have them inside your memory location. Why I'm saying that? Because in a kind of broader view, when we talk about any class, it's a sort of type. If you needed to occupy just one integer value when you say int a equal to 5 or 10, whenever you create a class, it has different members. We call them field, huh? So you're going to go to the memory, say, hey, the tennis racket, it's gonna be this part. The number of balls is gonna be this part. And the whole building belongs to that object that you created. And it's not just simply one integer or one string. It's a combination of them all, right? What is type? The different types that we already met in this course. And why we use types compared to languages like Python. We don't bother. You remember that in the first session, we tried Google Colab. I showed you that if you say A is equal to 10, and in the next cell, you change your mind and say that A is equal to Reza, still it works, huh? But why it is that much strict in C#? It's a compiler language, means that, hey, I'm not gonna be a random person to just say that, you know what, now let's go to have a picnic. No, we have to plan a week, 10 days before having that trip. But Python is like, hey, come on, just life is short, let's enjoy. And that is why the performance of the Python is not that much great, because there's no plan in advance. You just go from cell to the next cell. Look at this one. You know that it says that to provide additional layer of information for entities in a program, we have types. We have those kind of simple types, but they are categorized into 2 different major categories or classes. One of them is value types, and the other one is reference types. What are the difference between these 2? Some of you, in one of the class, one of the students asked me that, Reza, what is the major difference between struct and class? Honestly, the major difference is this one. The struct is a value type, while the class is a reference type. They're pretty similar. The struct belonged to the previous generation of languages. Funny enough, they called structured languages based on that. And later they made it advanced, and then they said object-oriented languages. So in 1960s, 1970s, we had the emergence of struct structured languages, and after that we had object-oriented languages. But what are these two? Any familiar data type in the reference type? What? Array. Excellent. Yes. So let me ask you something, guys. Here is the code for you and muscle memory. I want you to practice this, please. There we go. So before anything, please tell me if I say int a equal to 10 and int b, and I say put the value inside a in b, huh? What would be the output of these two? A and B. B is means they are going to be, both of them are going to be same values. Okay. And when I say, I'm not sure, guys. Let's just try together. Control A, Control V, and I run it. And as you guess, it's going to be 10 and 10. Correct. Huh? So A is 10, B is 10. And when I change B, I say B is equal to 100. What's going to happen? So 1, it's not going to change because A is equal. We said that B is equal to A. That's one possible. I'm saying that the possibilities. The second possibility is it's going to change. A is going to stay intact. And the last possibility is because I changed B, A would change as well. Which one do you think? A, B, C? Let's see. As you guessed correctly, A stays intact, 10, and B is changed. The reason for that is what I wanted to use whiteboard, but because we recorded class, look at this one. Control Z. Okay. Listen to me. What actually happens is I'm going to have a block of memory. Huh? When you say that, guys, imagine that it is 4 bytes. I'm gonna say this is A in the memory, and I save 10 into it. And I'm going to have another block of memory. I'm talking about this line when you say integer B, and let's call it B. And here what happens when you say, hey, B is equal to A, means go to that location, whatever the value is, copy it inside a tray. What do you have on a tray? 10. And then bring that value inside here. So now you have 10 in that memory location. You might say that, Reza, it's obvious. For all the cases, it should be the same. Huh? Whenever you say B is equal to A, that's what we expect, huh? Right, Kesia? Looks very normal. But now I want you, please, try this one. We say, I'm sorry, there's something wrong with this code. I'm gonna just fix it for now. First, try this. Control A, Control V, my bad. Control C, Control V. Okay. First, try this one. Edgar? This. Mix it. Okay. Way back? No, way back. Not way long. So. Mhm. Okay, done. Okay, look at this one. Very obvious when you say int array, guys, we have an integer array called array A, which has these values. And when you say int array B, you have these values, right? And let me just give a flavor of technology. Okay, now you have that. Now you have that. Okay, Festus, I'm gonna just take care of that in a few minutes. Santiago, you have the code inside Telegram in a group. Yeah. So no worries. And the thing is, actually, what happens is it's like having an array A that contains these three units, and we have 1, 2, 3. And then we create, this is important, we create another block somewhere, and we store 1, 2, 3 as well. And when you change the second element of this one and you say it is it's 100, this one, which is array B, is going to change, right? While this one is not gonna get any impact. But what if, tell me, what if instead of this line, I say, you know what, why should I bother? Just say whatever inside array A is there too. Can you please just change it to this one? Okay, what is happening? Listen to me. This is super important. What actually happens, everything from whenever you say that int array, say that I want to, everybody, I want to have an integer array, and let's call it array B. Huh? Listen, wait. Then it's going to ask you, hey, do you want to occupy any memory address for it? And array B is going to say, well, actually, whatever the guy has on the next desk, I want to have the same thing, right? Whatever they have, I want to order the same thing. So technically here, what happens is this one. You are going to have something called array B, but it is going to point to exactly the same memory location. then Festus, there is no two, all is one. Wow, what a quote. All of them are going to point to one location in the memory. So whatever you change in B, it's going to apply in A, and whatever you change in A, it's going to apply in B. Look at this one again. Hey, I didn't say I want to have, whenever you say anything in front of this guy, it is a shorthand of new, another array passing the number of elements. The shorthand is that. You don't say new. You don't say I want to occupy memory. You say that I want to use exactly the same memory allocation. Okay, that 20 minutes which was distracted. Hello, how are you?
Good.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank you.
please. Ali, right?
No,
Edgar.
Yeah.
Edgar, this is your first session, right?
yes.
Excellent. I have a good news for you, but please, after you're sitting, I'm going to share it with you. Okay, guys, look at this picture. Oh, not, yes, this one. Now, you see that it says that call by reference, and the other one said call by value. Do you see that? It exactly means whenever it is called by reference, the both cameras located into one object. So you cannot say that because I see in two monitors one object, if I break this one, I have another reserve. No, they are just looking at the same location, one object from two cameras, two names, called by reference. But if you have in two different locations of the memory, there are two separate things. Now I want to get back to this, the slide. Here we said struct is called by value, while class is called by reference. And array is a beautiful implementation of class. About the rest, I'm not gonna waste your time just reading those things for you. Enumerated data, interface, struct, class, records, delegates. We are going to be the master of them down the road. And another thing here, I very much like this one, guys. Whenever you have one stamp, one class, any object that you create based on that class would be an instance of object. So if you hear that word somewhere that they said that instances, it's synonym to object. Is it clear? Instance, object. Both of them are the same. Okay. Class members, data members. Aswin, what are the class data members? Yes, field is one of them. Field just stores data. What about the other side? Anybody can tell? We have field to store the data, and we have action methods, right? Fields and actions methods. What is in the middle? Huh? Hybrid. Okay. Or the best is to say properties. Properties are in the middle. Combination of data and action means you can have action over your data. Like, when should we just use that, you may ask? Imagine that you want to enter the records of the students that they pass one course or get any grade. Do you think that any number below 0 is acceptable? So the answer is no. If above 100, the answer is no. So if somebody forget to press enter, forgets to press enter and puts two values, you should stop and say, hey, 8972 is not a proper number for one course. It should be 82, enter the next one. You're going to just say, hey, don't do that. That happens through properties. In many cases, we might not use it, but don't worry. We are going to talk about it extensively later. But by saying that, we are at the beginning of a new, brand new concept, and the concept is constructor. Lovely. But for constructor, I have no clue what the constructor is. Guys, almost, and it's a little bit kind of stressful for me. We do not have that much time. We are something like 30 minutes behind the schedule. So that is why let's have just 5-minute break if you want to just have a quick water break. And we are gonna start sharp at 9:37, please.
First, my name is Reza. The good news is that state is coming up. Awesome.
No worries. I was having problems with receiving the code to enter to Telegram, but now I can connect.
Awesome.
So I'm going to send you the message and
Sure, definitely. So I sent you, Festus, the link. Please click on it. Then you're going to be good to go. Okay. No worries. And the
when I told the recruiter, his reaction was, "Oh, congratulations! Is it the
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your bro. Hope you're doing well. And in this video, we're going to discuss classes in C#. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. All right, classes. A class is really just a bundle of related code.
for those who are new in the concept like Reza, we go through the concept over and over, watching different videos, and little by little, you're gonna see, it really makes sense. So don't worry, guys, the concept of object-oriented is not something easy. That's why this gentleman is amazing in talking about the concept.
It can be used as a blueprint to create objects with object-oriented programming, but we'll discuss that in the next video. So my main method is located within a class named program. The point of this class is, well, to group my program together, but there are classes too that have certain functions. For example, the math class. The purpose of the math class is to contain a bunch of useful methods related to mathematics. Let's take a look at this. So this class is named math, and all that's in here is a bunch of methods related to mathematics. So that's kind of the point of this class, but we can create our own classes too. Now, to create a class, we can either do so outside of our class program or create a class within a separate C# file. I'll show you both ways. So to create a class, make sure that we're not writing this within our class program. So that ends here, side class. And let's create a class to group a bunch of useful messages together, like message methods. Class, messages, curly braces. And let's create a few methods related to messages. So this is going to be more of like a utility class. Void hello. And when we use this method, let's display a message like hello. Welcome to the program. And let's create maybe two more. Void hello. Void, what about waiting? Like waiting for something. I am waiting for something. And what about goodbye? Void bye. Bye. Thanks for visiting. If you would like to create a class within a separate C# file, I would recommend opening your solution.
Okay. Everybody, we are gonna go through that, but let me ask you something. If you want to access any of those methods, do you think that you can do it directly? Did we say that, hey, occupy for me any part of the memory, yes or no? We didn't do that. We have used classes before, like math class, and we have used math.pal, or I don't know, the other things like sqrt, cosine, sine, and so on. They are all inside the math class. did we create any object before using them? We just direct, Reza, you said everything in C# is either class or object, but you didn't create any object out of a class. Is there any compromise? And if you understand this, you're gonna be way ahead of many people graduating bachelor level, not able to explain this. So Reza, is there any compromise that you have a class, but you occupy the memory without directly saying that create an object for me? I don't know. Listen to this part, please.
When you can find it here, go to View, Solution Explorer, right-click on your namespace, add class. Class, and then I will name this messages.
Don't worry, we are gonna just do it all of them step by step
Yeah.
together.
Okay, then I'm going to take my code from within this class, cut it, delete my class, and then paste it within this class messages. So you can either write your class within the same C# file or a different one. If I would like to use some of these methods found within the messages class, there's one of two things that I need to do. I either need to create an object from this class, or I need to precede my class definition with the word static, followed by everything within my messages class. So we'll talk about creating objects in the next.
Static means that, hey, I'm in rush. We are in a mission, I'm in rush. Create memory allocation for me on the fly. If you use prefix static, means that occupy the memory for me. Occupy the needed memory for me. It's something like a class which plays the role of function, role of object as well.
Just have to use the static keyword, and I'll create a separate video on this too. And we should now be able to use these methods found within my messages class. So if I need to display a hello message, I would type the name of the class, that would be messages, then dot to access the members. However, these are not visible, so we need.
So sad. We cannot see them. What is the reason for that? Yes. Import the mute. Good guess. I like that. Every day I give bonus mark to one wrong answer. Saram, you are the winner of that one. No words, but good guess. How could we make it happen to access? One of them is importing, as Saram said. The other one is say, hey, it's not a private property. Everybody can just use it. Guys, it's public property, right? Everybody can, like park. When you go, nobody's gonna say, hey, that's my property, you're not allowed to. It's public. So let's say it is public.
And that'll be a separate video on access modifiers. So I would like this to be a public method. So
And you can understand that private is a default access modifier. If you don't say it, it's gonna be private.
So precede static with public. And we should now be able to see those methods. So type messages again, dot, and here are those methods. I would like to use the hello method, and that will display my message. Hello, welcome to the program. I also have that waiting message. Messages, waiting for something, bye, thanks for visiting. So basically,
Okay, so guys, everything is clear, yes?
Public everyone within the system.
Huh. Everyone within a system. Okay, but everyone, please just close your Visual Studio and do not open it just randomly one file. Let's do it step by step together. I have a reason for doing so. Please open the file whenever you are in this page. Give me a signal. Are you in this page? Are you in this? Edgar, you can see this? Awesome. Santiago? You? Okay. Giordano? Oh, sorry. Not Giordano. Jordan, you are here? Okay. So please, everybody, say create a new project. Create a new project. And then make sure that you choose C# console application. Huh? Everybody? Santiago, can you just give a hand to Edgar? Make sure that Edgar has the same page, please.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And then let's go to the next. Guys, let's say, what is the thingy that we are going to work? New class, and say section 4. Okay, look at this one. Say next, but pause here. Make sure that this guy has checked. So do not use top level statements. Everybody? And then if you say create, look what's going to happen. You are going to have the new class section 4 as the namespace. Huh? You're going to have that one. And you're going to have class program and then static void main. Now, for everyone, guys, just to use your time efficiently, I'm going to just send you this part in the Telegram. Okay. So you're going to have this part. Make sure, can I have everybody's attention? Make sure that you are after the program class and before the namespace curly braces, before the namespace in here. Okay. Is it clear for everyone? And now inside the inside the static void main, if you start typing messages dot, you should be able to see. Look, if you say messages, I'm sorry, messages dot, you should be able to see hello, bye, waiting, and those kind of things. Well, you can see that. Use the other one. Don't worry. And just enjoy the show. Okay. The class is recorded for those who have any struggle in any of the steps. Okay. And the other thing that I want you, please, in your spare time, many of you have seen your schedules. You have, for instance, one class and you have 1.5 hours between. Use one of these computers. Make sure that you can just get yourself into Visual Studio. Always have plan B. And the reason for that is, guys, be ready. Quiz, exam, whatever, your computer is gonna just crash. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna start, just crying and saying that, oh, Reza, everything collapsed? That happens. We are engineers. We should just predict what's gonna happen, right? Guys, and have that tendency. Many of the things that I ask you, I know that sometimes you do not very much like what I'm doing, but honestly, guys, the simplest thing for me is just coming to the class and just reading the slides for you. If I say something, I think about it. What if Saram wants to go to a job interview and be a senior developer pretty soon? They expect some of the stuff from you, and you should be prepared for them. And I'm going to explain everything that comes to my mind. The good thing that I don't know many things. I just have a little knowledge, but whatever I know, I'm going to share. So be with me here. Look at this one. Everybody could see that we had this gizmo here. Then one of the reasons that they told us to use classes is reusability. I repeat it. One of the things that they told us to use classes is because of reusability. It means that you can just define something. You're calculating the tax, for instance, and then you can just use it in 100 places. But Reza, all the time I mean, just stick to this file because of this, and I copy and paste. What is the use of it? I could just simply use a struct. Look at this. I'm going to right click on the namespace again. One step. Just guys, let's do it every single step together. Right click on this gizmo, the project name, and then go all the way down to add, and then you can see class. You can see not all the way, halfway down, class, right? Everybody? And then when you click on that, it's going to ask you, okay, what do you want? Let's just say messages. Messages, and let's just press enter. And guess what? We are gonna get back to this place, and I'm going to just Control X. I get back here to messages, and then I'm gonna just say paste. Isn't it beautiful? If I get back to programs, you see that it's going to work exactly like what it was before, right? And the beautiful thing is you can have your all calculations in separate classes and import them the way that you see here. And then you can just, access all of them. Done. Common errors. Reza, mine doesn't work. Uh-oh, guys, I'm sorry. Mine doesn't work. I hope that nobody saw what I did. What is the solution? Do it again. Awesome. Okay, guys, what is the problem? What do you see here as the problem? Anyone can help? Yes. Guys, what is the problem of? Lovely. Look at this one. In here, I just deleted the namespace. That's one of the common problems. It's like man is in the other room, and I'm just saying that, man, where are you? Where are you? Hey, we are not in the same room to call, right? So that is why simply you should be in the same namespace. You should be in the same room. This is one of the most common problems that people could have. If you see that you cannot access, apart from access modifier, that's another story. We're going to talk about it. For instance, what is access modifier? Means that here, instead of public, if you just get rid of that, and we get back to this, you see that the hello cannot be accessible because of that public private. Yes.
I think the same folder for matching.
I cannot, sorry.
Aren't we the same name as in solution provided?
I have to let me just check your computer. You don't see?
Are we in the same folder in Solution Explorer, like in the same level? So why can't we just access the message without the name?
Without the namespace, because there is no default there. You have to mention, you can have several projects. It makes sense. It makes sense what you said, but that's how they implement, right? What the question that I received from Arjun is, they are in the same place. Why should we bother saying that when we are in the same room? It makes sense, but the one who implemented said that no matter if you are in the same room or not, you have to mention it. Okay, so let's go to the next part and the next video. This is the
Hey, it's Bro. Hope you're doing well. And in today's video, we're going to discuss object-oriented programming in C#. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. All right, objects. An object is an instance of a class. That means that we can use a class as a type of blueprint to create objects with object-oriented programming. So look around you right now. You're surrounded by objects. Next to me, I have a microphone, a monitor, a mouse, and a cup of coffee. So we can use code to mimic real-world objects. Objects can have fields and methods. These are defining characteristics and actions that an object can perform. They describe what an object has and what an object can do. And in today's video, we will be instantiating human objects, but we'll need the help of a human class as a type of blueprint to design what sorts of fields and methods that all humans should have. So outside of our class program, you can either do this within the same C# file or a separate one within your Solution Explorer. I'll keep it all within the same C# file.
so you know that from now on, just to simplify, we are going to just use the same location, while the most proper way of using that is a separate file. Okay.
A class named human, then curly braces. So let's add some fields. Fields are kind of like the defining attributes of what all humans should have. Let's say that humans have a name and an age. So I'll define those much like what we do with variables. String name, I will declare this but not yet assign it, as well as int age. So these are fields. They're defining characteristics of what an object has. Now let's create some methods. What kinds of actions can humans perform? They can eat and they can sleep. Void eat, and then I will display something when we invoke this method. Let's say name plus is eating. And then let's create a sleep method. Void sleep. Name plus is sleeping. Okay, now this is what we need to do to instantiate an object from a class. Type the name of the class, human. We need a unique name for this human object. Let's call this human object just human1. Human1 equals new human again. Add a set of parentheses and a semicolon. There we go. We now have a human object named human1. Now there's just one problem. The fields and methods of this human object are not visible. So if I type human1 dot, we can't access the name and age fields as well as the eat.
What is the default access? Okay, we are getting to the kind of jargon dictionary. What is the access modifier for name and age by default? Private. Means that nobody outside the class, again, nobody outside the class can access them. Huh? Again, nobody outside the class can access them. Okay.
So normally I wouldn't recommend doing this because this isn't secure, but just for learning purposes, let's precede our fields and methods with the access modifier of public so that these are publicly accessible from another class. So if we type human1 dot, we should be able to access.
Why should they bother? Hey, whenever we want to access human1 dots, we need to go and fix that. Why should we just do that? So the default should be public, right? Do you think so? Just think about it. Why they placed it as private? Yes.
Variable like public is too much time. What happens if we declare the class like public?
Okay, so even in that case, I'm saying why the default is not suitable. Yes. Security. Okay, let's see. Just the next video is going to, answer some of these questions, but let's have those questions.
As well as the eat and sleep methods. So let's give human1 a name. Human1 dot name. And let's assign him an age too. Human1 be able to use the eat and sleep methods now. Human1 dot eat. And then human invoking these two methods, eat and sleep. This will display Rick is eating and Rick is sleeping. So congratulations, we have successfully found reusing this class to create and follow this formula.
Okay, that's the
and make
beautiful
class
part.
human.
So we are gonna start reusing, copy and paste. So we are gonna call it human2. And then we are going to add those two lines, Morty and 16 years old. And then we are gonna just use the same thing like human2 eat, human2 sleep. And then you're gonna see this is the output. Is it clear so far? But what if instead of wasting my time just saying human1 dot name, I could just pass those gizmos as part of this definition? That would be nicer, right? So we didn't need to. Let's see if we can just have that. But before getting any further, I want you, please, everybody, I am going to this time, I'm going to give you the class program part, so you can have it inside your Excel. Sorry, inside Excel, inside your Telegram. You have it, and then I want you please type the class human.
Why? S is capital. That's a good question. And God has created, I don't know for such cases. But typically, string is the name of a class. And string with small s is an alias for that class. But don't take it from me. Search, and the very first thing that you're going to see in your search is going to be a Stack Overflow explaining what before.
I know that? Because another world, the computer starts to ask me, and I didn't know, I searched. Okay, guys. If you are done, give me a signal. Let's see. Awesome. So whatever you learn from this, means that, Sherry, I want to have a class named human. And definitely a human has name and age, right? So also human should have some actions like eating, sleeping, walking. So let's just pick two, eat and sleep. And the thing is, here when I say name, it is this name, right, that we have there. So name, for instance, Reza is eating, Reza is sleeping. Now I have that stem. I want to instantiate. Instantiate means making another object based on the blueprint that I have. For doing that, I go to the main, I say name of a class, name of an object that I want to have, and then equal to new human in parentheses. So I created two objects, human one, human two, and the name of the first human is Rick, 65 years old, and the next human, Morty, 16 years old, right? Awesome. And now you say that human one dot eat, human one dot sleep, and it's going to show you the result, right? Everything is fine? 100? Okay. Now we want to get to the next part. And I want you please pay attention. And guys, your bonus quiz for today is this one. Okay, guys, let me just clap. The bonus quiz, wow, on the clap. The bonus quiz is this one. By the way, another good news, Edgar. Today we're gonna have two quizzes. Yeah, just not one, two quizzes. The first one is going to be a bonus quiz, right? And the second, this is the first one's type. The second one is based on the next video that you are seeing. So please, if you have 100% awareness, borrow 100% more. Thank you very much, man. Look. Not this one, still you have to. Isn't it beautiful to start 5 minutes at 5 seconds at the beginning? Okay.
All right, constructors. A constructor is a special method found within a class. It has the same name as the class name. In the last video, we created a human class, but it's missing a constructor. If we do not explicitly create a constructor, there is a
What is the name? Okay, so here we have a class, and this one is, so a class with parentheses. So far, that's what I got. A class that you have parentheses is constructor. Okay, good.
called, and it is used to create an object for us. So let's explicitly create a constructor. So you type public, because we want this to be publicly accessible, and then it has the same name as the class name. Then add a set of parentheses, then a set of curly braces. This works just like a method, and we can even set up parameters. So let's set up name and age parameters. So we need to list the data type, string name, and int age. Now, in order to create a human object, we have to pass a matching set of arguments. We need to pass in a name and an age. Well, a string to function as a name and an integer to function as an age. So we don't manually need to assign these fields anymore. We can just pass these values as arguments. So with human one's name was Rick and his age was 65. So I will pass these as arguments, Rick and 65. And you can see that read underlined one way. So let's do the same thing for human 2, Morty and his age 16. And we no longer need to manually assign.
Isn't it beautiful? So you don't need to, just say, hey, human one dot name, right? And let's just see what else.
However, within the constructor, we'll need to do so. So type this dot, the name of the field we would like to assign, equals the name of the parameter, and in this case, they have the same name. This dot name equals name, and this dot age equals whatever this is, age. And this will work
Why?
equals whatever this is, age.
So why it said this dot name?
We use these to reference to the main class.
I didn't get that. I'm sorry. You have 2 minutes to search for it, please. Why we use this? I wish I knew. Manav, they do not pay us well, so I do not go and study all the things. Okay. Good. That's the closest. Okay. Current object. Yes.
The reason is we have the input parameter as the name, same as the field names. So we have to use this to emphasize this is referring to our current instance.
Excellent. Thank you, Colin. And Manav, too late. Okay. Guys, the thing is, I have already provided this link for you. That's the best explanation that I have provided. At your convenience, I'm going to just, if you search, the Microsoft said something at the beginning in here. It says that this keyword actually goes to the instance to one object that you have. It shows, hey, this means the object that you created. And not a class. Again, I repeat it. You create one object, human one, out of human, right? It's gonna point to human one and human one's all belonging, which is going to be name, age, the methods, and so on. Does that make sense? And we're gonna use this a lot today. I read it. That this keyword refers to the current instance, the current object that you have created of the class, and is also used as a modifier. Look, if I do not say that, you might ask that, Reza, who cares? I'm not gonna just use that. Let me just copy the code. Apart from the video, I provided all the codes. Yeah, as you see, Control C. And then let's Control V. Look at this one. You might say, okay, let's just get rid of that name. And then it's going to be just, do you see the color code? What is the color code telling you? It is kind of light blue. What can you infer from that? Exactly. So the arguments that we pass to this gizmo, you see that here we have name, those variables that we have inside the method, right? We define it as the input. If we have two variables, one of them is the field, for example, a higher level, and we have something inside, guys, imagine that we have something inside that program. The variable, if the name is name here, and I say name, it goes to the inner definition, the closest one. So it has nothing to do with this name. If you want to say, no, I'm talking about the field which belongs to that, you have to say, hey, this dot, and look at the color, it's automatically changed to white, which shows that it's a field. Does that make sense? I repeat it. I use one method, accidentally or intentionally, I use the same name for the variables of that method. The same name as I have for the fields, right? Jaina? So in order to distinguish this one from this one, I have to say this, which points to what? To the instance field. So here, the same thing, I say this, and it's going to point to the instance, means human one's name is equal to the name that I pass to it. Huh? Okay. By saying that, I said I have a constructor. Beautiful. I need to have constructor. Imagine that I create, listen to this. If I say human, guys, before I could simply say human one, human two, and I could just simply say equal to, if you say new, right? Human, you remember that we had a good time that we didn't need to say anything like, and we could just say accept it. Now it doesn't accept it. Why?
The people because you require parameter. You parameter. You don't specify the parameter.
Okay. Do you know how it works? It's like, hey, if you do not have any constructor, I'm gonna just create one for you, bare minimum. And that constructor is nothing but this, nothing inside. I don't need to tell you. But if you start creating one constructor, don't count on me anymore. I'm not going to show you that I did something. So if you want to have that default constructor, means constructor without any parameters, you need to create one. You see, now I have that. Does that make sense? A constructor without any input parameter is called default constructor. If you don't provide any, the compiler provides one for you. Again, the constructor without any input parameter is a default constructor. If you do not provide any, the compiler provides one for you. Right, Amika?
What's the use?
What's the use of new? Tell me. Amika, tell. Explain. He asked, what is the use? Please, yeah. Okay. Let me give you one example. Guys, what was the example that you very much liked in the previous session? I told you that you're going to buy a house, right? And I said, whenever you say house, my house, listen to this. Whenever you say, guys, forgive me for having, whenever you say house, my house, it's just a promise, right? Chokan? Column? It's just a promise. But whenever you say equal to new, it is going to be, listen to this part, it's going to allocate the space, land, and start creating things. Whenever you say house here, now you're calling constructor. If, for instance, you say 689, it's going to be a square feet of the house. And if you say 2, it's going to be the number of bedrooms, for example. And if you say white, it's going to be the color that you have chosen for that one. Does that make sense? If the company is one of those crappy companies that they do not want to just do anything like buy fridge for you, buy things, they don't have any bare minimum. Did you get it? They just occupy the land for you. They say, okay, you know, imagine that this will be your house and now go be happy. But whenever you pass those things, you initialize them. Guys, constructors are for initializing the values. If you don't say anything, the initialize would be for integers, 0. For strings would be null. Does that make sense? Again, new occupies the memory and constructors initialize the values. Wow. Write it somewhere. I'm going to just answer in a few seconds. Abdul, everything is fine?
So the fields being made in a class. Constructor initializes.
Initializes. And what if I want to give, you know what? Reza didn't give me A+ that semester. I want to give the house without any initialization. I need to define a default constructor to give a house without fridge and gas stove and so on, right? Remember, if you do not want to initialize values, you just need to have a default constructor. And then, listen to this part. Now, in here, guys, do you see that I mentioned private string name? I didn't say public. Because here, I didn't want to say human1 dot. Do you see any name or something here? Do you see this? This is a level of controlling. Imagine that name cannot be A, B, C. At least it needs to have 2 characters, right? At least it needs to have 2 characters. For the grade, for example, or for the age that we had here for human, is it possible to be -10? Is it possible to be 1,500? Hopefully for us, yes, but in general, no. So we should just, pause and say that, hey, not acceptable. We don't have any control if you say public. But in private, guys, I'm going to just say it. Later, we are going to just practice it. In setter getter, we are controlling all those values. It is possible. If you want, we can do that. Okay, let's go to the next part together. Everybody, if I ask you today a quiz, it's going to be like this one. So I'm going to this time, I'm going to give you the class program parts in your Telegram. And then please copy the code from the, just give me a second, I'm sorry. Just want to make sure that. Ivan? My apologies. Okay, it should be now clean, so everybody could just, not yet. Okay. And I have a question, flipping nice. Okay, so yeah, this is the code, the part that you have to complete. You already have most of the parts, just mention it private string name, private int age, and then change this one, just add constructor. Rishi, everything is fine? Okay. Saram, done? Done? Okay. Let's just try it together. Once, Control C. The code that I have, guys, you are at home, you want to, and Control A. Yesterday, one of the friends that they didn't have class with me, thank you very much, Felipe. I just want to put it this way. They didn't know that they have to close all the tabs. So they received the last warning for using ChatGPT during the quiz and exam. When I say that the last warning, it's very serious. And the thing is, I'm going to run this one, Control A, Control V. Look, I can just add a new human. Okay. Let's say 3. I'm going to just use my real information. Perfect. How did you know that, man? And then, yes. Who said that? Okay, bonus mark. No, just come on. Yeah, okay, 3. And do I really asleep? Human, I wish. Dot sleep, and then done. So Control A, Control K, F for format. So it's going to be, all of them are going to be aligned. So now if you see, you're going to see the info that is mentioned there. But I want to listen to this part, and with these questions, we are going to get prepared for the next lesson. If I want to show, I say console right line, and I want to say, what is the human? I just want to show my name there. Show the, where is it? We don't have it. Shoot. So do you see that whenever I want to access, for instance, the name or the age or whatever of the object that I created, if I create them private, as you see, I can't do anything then to show or something. One of the band-aid solutions that we could have is defining something like, guys, is it possible to say public void display, huh? And I say console writes line $, and we say name is only age old, huh? And what's going to happen? If I just say here, human 3 dot display, indirectly I can have the access, but I needed to use a method. Is it possible? Just have that question in mind. Is it possible that I create a mechanism that I can just read? Guys, I promised not to change anything. Again, Jordan, I'm not going to change anything. I just want to see the values, right, Arafat? I just want to see, not to change. Is it possible? And that is the question that I want you to have in mind. For now, we just found a band-aid solution. Let's go to the next part. And for the next one, I don't want to give you any hint or code. I want you yourself to complete the code.
But we do not need to manually assign those values to those fields. So after calling the eat and sleep method for both human 1 and human 2, this will display Rick is eating, Rick is sleeping, Morty is eating, Morty is sleeping. So that's kind of what a constructor is. It's a special method found within a class, and it's automatically called when we instantiate an object if we do not explicitly create a constructor. But if we do, we can manually assign some values to fields of an object. Let's try a different example this time. Instead of humans, let's create a car class. We will instantiate some car objects. So let's delete our current class and create a new one. Class car, then curly braces. Cars will have, let's say, 4 fields: a make, a model, a year, and a color. String make, string model, int year, and string color. Then to create a constructor, this will have the same name as the class name. Precede this with public car, parentheses, curly braces. And again, this is a special kind of method that we can set up arguments and parameters. So we have string make, string model, int year, and string color. And then when we receive arguments, we can assign them to these fields. This dot make.
This points to the current instance, the current object that we have.
Equals make. This dot model equals model. This dot year equals year. And this dot color equals color. Then let's create maybe a drive method. Public void drive. And we will display something. You drive the plus make plus, I'll add a space to separate make and model, plus model. Okay, now let.
Up to this point, would you please just type the code? Yes. Modify it.
Private,
Uh-huh.
you know, the memory thing to do, the memory table you make that we assign space, we assign. So what if like we have B equal to A, we create a new variable, we assign the same thing and then we access the variable.
Okay, can you please draw a graph of what you're saying, then I can just understand this.
And then after,
Okay. Okay, done? Done, finish?
Yeah.
Okay, then first finish, then I'm gonna tell you. Those who could finish, please just give me a thumbs up. Done. Awesome, thank you, Philippa.
Make model plus model. Okay, now let's instantiate.
Okay, model plus model. Let's make.
The separate make and model plus model.
Okay, let's see. Guys, we have a class named car. What should we do when we have a class named car? We are gonna just create some cars based on that class, right? Let's see.
Create some car objects. So we type the name of the class, car, then we need a unique name or identifier for this car. Let's call this first car, car1, equals new car, parentheses, semicolon, But to instantiate a car object, we have to pass a matching set of arguments to these parameters. We have to pass a make, model, year, and color. So car one, let's say, is a Ford Mustang.
Okay, one quick question. Imagine that we have a car that we don't know the year, but we have the rest of the info. This specific constructor, is it going to accept just we pass 3? Is there a way that we can just say, hey, please? One of them is saying that, okay, whenever you don't know the name, just say unknown. Whenever you don't know the age, say 1900. That kind of solution is possible, but is it a kind of nice way to do that? Is it possible to have multiple constructors? I don't know. Let's see.
Mustang, the year will be 2022, and the color is red.
Like the
And then
color.
let's have car one use the drive method. So type car one dot drive, then a set of parentheses to invoke it. You drive the Ford Mustang. Now let's create car two. It's the same process as before, but we need a unique name or identifier. Car two equals new car. This will be a Chevy Corvette, and the year will be 2021, and the color is blue. And then let's use the drive method of car2.drive. You drive the Ford Mustang, you drive the Chevy Corvette. So yeah, that's a constructor. It's a special method found within a class, and it has the same name as the class name, class car, and the constructor name is car as well. And it can be used to assign arguments to fields when creating an object. There's a few other things you can do with constructors too, but we'll discuss that in future videos. So yeah, those are constructors. If you can, smash that like button, leave a random.
I have done it. Look at this one. Now we go to this. Hopefully, all of you could already have that. The thing is, look at this one. I just shared the video. Oh, sorry, the code. Now you have it. Just do a thing. In the code that we have, instead of saying a string, say private string. Is it going to change anything? So we can understand that the default is private, right? Jordan works, everything works. Works, Santiago? Okay. I intentionally want everybody, please just, guys, as long as you don't face any error and you do not try to fix it, you're gonna stay manager. In order to be a developer, you have to face problems. And those squiggly lines are good signs, means that you started doing something. So don't afraid of, I don't think that this guy is gonna explode. So try to kill it. See a squiggly line, good job, a progress. Okay? So if you see that, don't get surprised. I just copied the same code. I mentioned that I used access modifier, means I wanted to emphasize using private. It's not going to change anything. So the next one is amazing. I have seen some of my classmates that they had programming 2 with me. After that, next semester, you're going to have programming with Java, right? And that is one of the tough courses. I received nice comments from my team members saying that, Reza, because we did lots of rehearsals of, for instance, doing everything. We did it several times. It's like we know what is the class, what is the method, what is all of those, what are all of those things. Intentionally, I have chosen one video to watch together, and it's not about C#, it's about Java. Please listen to this. I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna ask you in the middle of it, see how far you could get and what are the
In this video, we're going to talk all about constructors in Java. We'll go over what they are and what they're used for, how to use them, and how you can create different types of them with some concrete examples. My name is John. I'm a lead Java software engineer, and I love sharing what I've learned in a clear, understandable way. So if you like this video, please consider subscribing so you don't miss each new Java tutorial. I also have a full Java course available in the link down in the description if you're interested. Okay, so what exactly is a constructor and what is it used for? All a constructor is a very special type of method that is used to create new objects. Let's say we have a basic class like this dog class.
guys, did you hear? He said it's a special type of method, but it's not a method because we don't have any return value.
Class here. This dog class serves as a kind of a blueprint for what a dog looks like. But if we want to create any actual dog objects, we have to use constructors to do that. You've probably created Java objects in your programs before just by doing something like dog, my dog, equals new dog. Well, when you see this new keyword followed by the class name itself, in this case dog, and an open and close parentheses, this is actually calling a dog constructor method to create a new dog object. But over in my dog class, you'll see that I don't have any methods at all. I have two fields, a string name and an int age, but I'm still able to use this dog constructor method to create a new dog object.
Why?
Because it already created a default constructor.
Anyone apart from man? I'm not going to give you bonus. Okay. How about anybody else? Why we can use without defining any constructor? You see? Did you learn that? Say it again for me. The system provides default constructor. Awesome. Good.
A class like this dog, Java kind of assumes that you're going to want to create objects of this class. So without you having to do anything at all, Java creates a default constructor for you. Now the default constructor doesn't take any arguments at all. That's why this open and close parentheses is just empty. And you'll probably hear people calling it something like the default no args constructor. This is what they're talking about. All it does is gives me a brand new dog object that's essentially empty. So each dog object will have a name and an age. But if I go back here and take my dog object and print out my dog
console.writeLine sys out print line
dot name, it prints out null. And that's because this default constructor doesn't set any of the fields on this object. But what if I want to be able to set these values when I create a dog, right? I can't do that with a default constructor. If I want to do that, I can create my own custom constructor. It's pretty similar to other methods, but there are some small differences. It looks like this: public dog, open and close parentheses, and open and close curly braces. So you can see it looks a whole lot like any other method, but for a constructor method, the name of the method will always be exactly the class name. So here it's dog. It also won't have any return type here, like int or string, or not even void. It won't have any return type at all in a constructor. So what we've just made here is what Java had already given us as its default no args constructor. It takes no arguments and essentially just gives us a new empty dog object. But here in this constructor method body, I can set the name of this new dog object that's being created. So for example, I can take name and set it to Kramer. So now if I go back and call this same constructor method and I run my program, my dog's name is Kramer. But it's kind of lame to have a dog constructor method that always sets the name to exactly the same thing, right? You want to be able to customize that name for each individual dog object that you make. To do that, we'll want to add a parameter to this constructor method. So what we can do is take in a string name parameter. Then you can set this name field with the name variable that's passed in. But here's the thing though. So if you take name and set it to name, so there's something wrong with this, right? The parameter here is called name, but the field on our object is also called name. Right now, when we just put name, Java assumes that we mean this name parameter that's being passed into the method. To solve that, we can tell Java that we mean the name field on this dog object by using the this keyword. Now, the this keyword is probably a whole other topic for another future video. For now, all you need to know is that you need to use this.
After saying all these things, now it makes more sense to say that, hey, this object's name is what you pass to it. It totally makes sense by looking at it this way, right? So this object's name is equal to name. Awesome.
Refer to the field on the object. So that'll take this name field and assign it the value of the name being passed into the method. So now back here, we can pass in the name as a parameter to our dog constructor. Let's call it Jerry. And run our program and you can see that we have a dog named Jerry. Now you aren't limited to just one constructor. If you want, you can have multiple constructors. The only requirement is they have to have different types of parameters. So if I just take this method and copy it, even if I change the name of this string variable to something.
Is it going to accept it? If I change the name of the, no.
Else, Eclipse still gives me an error because I have two different structures that both take a string as its parameter. But you're totally allowed to have multiple constructors if they have different parameter types. So if instead this took in an int age, we can set this dot age equal to age. This is no problem at all. So now we can pass in an int, an age. So I can pass in 4, and then if I want to print out my dog's age, I get 4. You can also create constructors that take more than one parameter. So instead of having separate constructors where one sets the name and one sets the age, you can instead make a brand new constructor that takes in the string name and the int age. We said this dot age equals age, this dot name equals name. If we want to use this constructor, we just need to pass in a name and an age. So for the name, let's give it George 33. We can print out the name and my dog dot age. And there we go. We've created George, the 33-year-old dog. And of course, you're not just limited to 2 parameters. Like any other Java method, you can create constructors that take as many parameters as you want. There are a couple of more very important things to know, so don't bail on me yet. One thing is that notice, if we go back and take out sending these parameters and
It's going to work, true or false? False? False, then, thank you. None of. Too late. None of, bravo. Okay,
no args constructor, now
why? Because we already defined constructors and there is no default constructor. If you want to have default constructor, you have to make one.
constructor dog with no parameters is undefined, but it should be using the default constructor that Java gives us for free, right? So what gives? Well, yes, remember, if we don't provide any constructor at all, Java will provide this default no args constructor for free. But if we specify any constructor at all ourselves, Java will not provide that default no args constructor. If we've added our own custom constructors and we still want that no args constructor, we need to include it ourselves. Of course, that's not hard to do. We had it before. It's just public dog, open and close parentheses, open and close curly braces. Another thing is, what about situations where you actually don't want any constructor for your class at all? For example, maybe you have a class like this. I have a constants class. Since all these fields are static, I can use any of these constants in this file without having to create.
Just for the rest, forget it. Guys, how's everything so far? It's exactly like if I didn't say that this is Java and instead of system out the println, then the rest is going to be exactly the same, right? So again, getting back to the fact, if you know how to drive, you can drive any car. If you know how to program, it doesn't matter if you're dealing with C# or pandas or Java. You know how to program. And that's the darn hardest thing for the first time. Okay, by saying that, now please allow me to close the extra things. Okay, this is actually where the slides of the standard slides of Centennial starts. I'm not gonna get there, but quickly, I want you just to look at this one. Here we have a class named Hero. And in that class, we have, what are these guys? Tell me. Excellent, fields. We have fields. And what is this guy? Okay, whenever the name of something here inside the class is similar to the name of a class, it is constructor. Again, whenever the name of something inside the class is similar to the name of a class, close your eyes, constructor. It's constructor. Well, in this one, we just passed one parameter into it, and that is the name part. How about the health? Imagine that you are writing a game, and every character that you define has name, and they have their own health level. So if you, for instance, gain more, it's going to just increase the health. If you lose any of the lives, it's going to decrease the health. Does that make sense? Okay. And what is this one, guys? Can anybody tell? If you just tell hero, the name of the hero that you created, it's gonna just show you the name of a hero and the health value. I want you all, please run this one, but before calling this, what do you think the health would show you? It's going to show null, it's going to show 0, it's going to show error, ABC. Null, 0, error. Error, okay, I don't know, just try it and just tell me the result. Man, joking aside, I gave you a bonus just to let you know. Yeah. Whenever you're done, please give me a signal. Thank you. Okay. Yes.
If you override to continue like that, so like straight line.
What do you mean?
Put the dollar sign in.
Okay.
You can write it like that. Right now, I'm just like the brackets and everything.
You don't need to have parentheses. It is possible to have. Actually, that's my style. I borrowed it from the slides. That is why I didn't change it. But my style is return using parentheses.
Okay.
So, okay, done. What I want my friends to do is, and this is gonna be what we try. Please create another constructor bonus mark question. create another constructor that accepts name as well as age, and then create another hero. Let's call hero Charles, for example. And then 18 years old. And whenever you are done, please do not post it in the groups. Send it to my private chat in Telegram. I'm gonna check and give bonus mark. By the way, here is my. Oh, you have lots of posts from me. So you click on my name here, on my name, and you can find and just you can simply send it to my private chat. Yes.
Is the health supposed to be 18 or the age? You want to
Health. Sorry. If I said age, my apology. Health.
Sorry, Professor, can you please repeat the task?
Sure. Create another constructor which accepts both name and health. Create one example based on that and send the code to my private chat. Pardon? The second hero's name, Arafat. Guys, it's not political. His name is Arafat. Just yeah. Sorry. What does the name and health? A constructor that contains both name and health. So good, Arjun. Saram. Boilong. Awesome. Andy. Irene. Amika. Manav.
I send you email,
Email.
image,
Image.
because it's a virtual machine, I can copy this.
Okay, send image. Ranjan. He wants to send image because
do you need an email or?
you see troublemaker.
Minus one.
Send at least. Yes. Okay. Lon, thank you. Festus, merci. Aswin. Can, yeah. choke and, okay. Not a bad idea too, because alphabetically I check for cho, so if you, but if there's any security issue, you can just keep as it is. But anyway, thank you. Man, Jordan, you just sent the same code. I need a new constructor. Okay. So Rishi, thank you. Okay, look, for those friends who left behind or I couldn't explain the way that it's needed. So look at this one. If I run the current code, first thing first, guys, what was the answer? I said for the health, it's gonna show what? Lovely, it's gonna show 0. So that's the default value. That's gonna show. But the thing is, for the next one that I asked you, and you needed to just create another constructor for the health. Is it possible to have another one with, for instance, just only health? Yes. And you see that here we have 2 constructors. Is it possible to have default constructor without any input parameter? The answer is yes. And how about this one? The question is here in the toString part, what we mentioned, Rishi, was this dot name, and we said this dot health. Is it mandatory to say this? Because we are not inside a method that we use name and we use health. Technically, the default, it's going to search, guys, what is happening if somebody asks you that, Reza, why you should use this here? For instance, in this example, we are gonna say, whenever we have something like name, it's going to search for immediate parameter that they can find, and it is here. So this name is going to find this one. If you want to say, hey, no, go somewhere else, you have to point here in this place. We do not have any parameter, and we do not need to search for anything. The nearest one that has health is going to be the field here. You don't need to point that I'm talking about this field. Does that make sense? Okay. So by saying that, now we are ready for the next. And I didn't like this fraction kind of thing. Let me just show you. And please, yes, immediately type that. If I run the code, we have 3 fractions. You see that here it is 5, 1, 4, 4. I don't like it. I want to see 5/. So in the fraction, I don't know where to change, what to change. The whole thing is to get one as numerator and the other one as denominator. So you see that here, it says that top and bottom. Top means numerator and bottom means denominator, yes. I don't know. So just please, everybody work on that. And whoever could finish this time, send me the screenshot of the result. Okay. Sorry. The question is, you see the output here. Here is the code and here is the output. I don't like to have 5, 1. I want to have 5/. Just change the code a little bit. I couldn't. So please just help me.
Right, some of the questions are super easy just to encourage you to type the code. This is one of them. Mohammed Abdul, I just found your name here as well, sorry. Well done, thank you. Yes, sir. Just please send it to me. Andy, merci. Okay. So Saram, that's backslash. Just change it to a slash. Yeah, let's forward the slash. Okay. So Amika, awesome. So guys, to the interest of time, if you don't mind, let's just move forward. Irene, thank you. Kanjan. Manav, merci. Rishi testers. Okay, Rishi testers. Rishi testers. Okay. Can I have your attention, please? Look at this one, please. The next thing that we want to do is a bit confusing. So one of the things that I suggest, let me just see.
unfortunately, I have forgotten to, let's say, simplify it. Okay. This is the last thing that we're gonna do before the quiz. The first one, the first quiz would be the bonus quiz, and this is especially for those friends that are new in the group, and I mean we didn't have the practice before together. It's a kind of like see how it works. Look at this one. This is the code. Whenever I see such a code, first thing first, you're going to have some pandas. One of them is Aishan and the other one is Hua Me. I'm gonna freak out if I just want to remember these. So guys, John, Sarah, that's it. That's the first step. Okay. And the one that starts with hi, I'm gonna just say what was the name? John. Not Juan, just John. And John, and this one is going to be Sarah. Sorry, Sarah married who? John. No other option for so yeah, okay, so we had something like this. And then there are a few things that are new here. Listen to this. Here we say we have a class, and what is that class? Panda. And in that class, we have one, obviously, one private field, which is name. And the other private field is what? Is, guys, it's like int a. Instead of saying int a or a string name, we say panda made. Means that we are going to have one field, but the texture, the material is not like string, it's not like integer, it's not like float, it's another pandas. Does that make sense? Look at this one. I create one object from that class. Whenever I say, hey, create P1, what is new? Go to the memory occupy space for me. And then here I say pandas. And what is the name of that pandas? John. Look at here in the, where is the, guys, can anybody tell me which one is the constructor one? Oh, line 21. Sorry, thank you. Yes. Why you said that? Because Arin, the name of this guy is equal to the name of this guy, right? So it's going to be pandas and this guy is going to be panda. So this one is what? Constructor, right? Look at this. So whenever I get a name like John, it's going to pass it to this dot name. So the name of that guy is going to be John. Everything is clear so far? But did I talk about, guys, after having that pandas, did I talk about the marriage? Hey, come on, we just had that pandas. Let that creature live for a while. And then how about P2? Sarah. We just had a name for. So after a few years, then they are gonna just start searching for, okay. If I say right line P1, what's gonna happen? Let me just show you one thing. If I don't have this thing, and if I say, imagine that forget about whatever we are going to have after. My bad. Forget about anything that we are going to have after the marry function. If I say control line and we say all these asterisks, if I say, please show me the pandas P1, it's going to show you the name of it. Class. Does that make sense? Okay, awesome. Look at this one. One of the things that I could say is, I could just say, show the is the pandas, something like this. Now, my apologies. Now, what do you think it's going to happen after this?
Name is the panda, John is the panda.
This time it's going to say John is the pandas. I mean, is the pandas, not a pandas, right? So by saying that, I want you to decipher and decode. This goes back to the thing that we learned in a previous session. It's going to show John, but it talks about something. It talks about John's partner or spouse. I don't know when it's going to show this one, when it's going to show this one. Just spend time. I'm going to give you the code. I'm going to give you the code. So explain the code to your neighbors as best as you can. I'm sorry, where is the... Okay. Now it's the time that after you read it yourself, explain it to your peers. Follows? Okay, guys, did you get what is happening over there? Almost? I didn't. So what I needed to do is I created another version for myself. That's a kind of crappy version, simplified everything to make sure that okay. I told you that you can use ChatGPT, but not for exam, not for assignments, definitely not for assignments. And I told some of the friends that, guys, stay away from two things: drugs, ChatGPT. But is it possible to use it in a constructive form? Look, I have this code, Control C, and I get to this part and I say, dear ChatGPT, dear ChatGPT, please explain the following code to me. Did you hear about blocking one user by one of these chatbots? Just read the news. Microsoft Bing blocked one person because that person was rude to chat. Imagine that we should, that's why be careful, use please explain, don't say, yeah. So sure, I'll explain the code. So pandas classes, it explains and set it, okay. The private fields, you have these fields and the constructor. And if guys, don't you like to have somebody like a tutor at home? So it explains everything. And that's one way. The other way is you have assignments, put the question and say that, give me the answer. Okay. And then definitely, and good luck with the final mark that you're going to get from this class. So look at this one. Actually, that happened. I don't want to address that. That was not an easy day. Because I told you, and I'm going to ask friends for the quiz to sit the way that I can see the monitors. Almost, guys, I have this. And hey, come on. I can just come here again, paycheck to paycheck. Who cares? I have all the records of you. Every session, who does what? I know who does what. Very simple. If I just pass and I see that one person is not putting semicolon there and just searching for the error, I know how much they put effort. It's obvious. Doesn't need any Einstein to just grab that. But there's one thing. There's one person who came like open parenthesis, close parenthesis, just one session and the last session. There are some people that I see them maximum 3 sessions. And
while I am marking the others, there is a gap. Maybe somebody just type and use ChatGPT. I didn't have any knowledge. I went to the record. I saw that it's white, no record. And I asked simply that, okay, you answered out of 3 questions. They answered only 1 question. I said, okay, how did you answer it? So Reza, because it was easy, I just answered it. I was like, awesome. Okay, at least we got something. So how did you answer it? Why you use those parameters? I don't know. I just searched it on in the internet. I was like, okay, we have time. So just do it, search it in front of me. Okay, do it. ChatGPT. I didn't say even a word, just 0, and I left. And that person just needed 2 marks to pass. Those people who expect me to betray you and make, I'm sorry to use this word, it is recording. I know what I'm saying, and I know intentionally why I'm saying it. Those who want me to turn your certificate into toilet paper, I'm sorry, I'm not here for that. I'm here to make sure that we are going to have a generations of engineers responsible to build this society. If you are in, very welcome. Otherwise, wrong class. The thing is, here I didn't grab what is happening in this code. What I did was a simplified version, and I have no clue what is happening in this code. Let's do it one at a time together. First thing, what was the name? John. What's the other name? So, guys, again, John, Sarah, John, Sarah, again, John. Oh, yeah, sorry, yes. And John, is there any John anywhere? No. So, I have no clue what is happening. First thing first, let me just copy this one for the next class. I'm going to save 2 minutes. If you see, I mentioned a simplified. Let's say, I'm sorry, John, Sarah. Okay. So the names are easier to, because I have no clue what is happening in the code, I hover the mouse to the most, guys, this is something that we are gonna learn almost near the end of the semester, but I want you to start working on it. If you hover the mouse here and click, it's going to create something that we call breakpoints. Again, hover the mouse somewhere here, and it's gonna just show you what breakpoints. Listen to me. I'm going to start running, and it goes all the way to the line that I put that breakpoints. I'm going to hover the mouse on top of P1. What is inside P1? Anybody? Anyone? Nothing yet. As long as you are in that line, it shows nothing, right? You need to pass to the next. Look at the options that I have on top. Look at the, worry not. After finishing this one, I'm going to just do the step by step. For now, everybody, please just be here. Make 100% sure that you're gonna follow this one. Look, here it says that a step into or a step in some of the IDEs, you see it says that step or a step in or a step into. It means that go inside. So if I click that step in, it gets into pandas class, and then it says whatever the
thingy the name is, I'm gonna place it into that. And guess what? Now, if you just go to the next line, P1 already is John, which is not married, right? But why we have that John not married? Look at this one. Did we say anything about the mate yet? Did we say anything about the mate yet? So because in here mate is equal to null, it's going to say not married. If it was not equal to null, then you had somebody as the mate. Does that make sense? This is ternary operator. We talked about it in the previous session. If the condition is true, it's going to use this one. If not, it's going to use the other one. Who is the mate? No one yet, null. That is why it's going to say not married. Listen to this part. I go to the P2, I get to next, here, and then I get to the next part. And if I hover the mouse, it's gonna show Sarah and not married as well. Listen, what if I say, so definitely if I just have the, did we print anything? Not yet. That's a good thing. So, and now I am in this line. If I say step into, now we have that line. You see that? And now we say console right line P1. You see this? If I say go to that line, it goes here. Does that make sense? And now it says, look, who is the P1? John, yes. And look, the name is John. And do we have any company for John yet? No. So the mate is null. So that is why we are going to just bring this one as the thing that we are going to just show in front of the mate. Huh? And look at this. John, mate, not married. And then for guys, do I need to do the same thing for P2 with Sarah? Right now, you know the drills, right? You don't need to go to step by step. Look at this one. I'm gonna say the step over means that go and do the job and come back to this line. Look at the beautiful thing. I went to the next line, right? And hover the mouse here. Look at this one. It went to that part, did the job, brought it back. You might say that there's a magic. What did you do? This is the first time that you face this. And I'm gonna do tons of examples using step into, step out, and these kind of things. So don't worry. And then again, I'm gonna go to the next line. I'm gonna go to, this is the first time that I say P1 dot I call what? Method Mary. And what is Mary doing? Mary is gonna say whatever the name, whatever the mate that you're gonna pass, we are gonna pass P2. Who is P2? Sarah. We say that, look at this one. We say that, and I intentionally want to step into. I say that this, who is this? John, the object that we are talking. John's mate is who? John's mate is Sarah that we passed. And whose mate? Sarah. Sarah's mate is done. And I added a few lines just to, because Reza asked me lots of questions. So I was like, okay, let's just say, hey, this dot mate is null yet because we don't have anything like, and mate dot mate, look, if we go to this one, it's going to show you that I'm sorry, it shows that, who is this one? Mate is Sarah, mate not found, married not yet. Because guys, we passed mate, we just said here Sarah, but Sarah, we didn't link that. It goes exactly the same path. I just wrote these things to make the job a little bit understandable. Finally, we get to the line that I already told you, and you beautifully, most of you don't need these lines, so you can just get rid of them. Now, if I hover the mouse, it says that this dot mate is Sarah, and the next line, Sarah's mate is John. Does that make sense? And after that, if you run the same lines, it's gonna show you, look at the difference. Now, this dot mate is Sarah, and the mate of Sarah is John. Mate is Sarah, mate is John, and mate dot mate is John, which the mate of that is Sarah's up. Just these two was enough. I'm going to give you this code, spend just a few seconds, and Control A, Control C. Just spend a few seconds, explain it to your neighbors. And after that, we are gonna, yes, here's the code. Explain it to your neighbors. And whenever you are done, just please give me a signal. Yes. No. It looks like, but it's not. Just think about it a little. Yeah. I'm just gonna be with you in no time. My apologies. And I'm sorry, we are 10 minutes behind the schedule, right? So I don't want to keep people, they have back-to-back class. Yeah. So, but definitely after that, you're going to have.
Send, are you on the Telegram?
I'm gonna just tell you what to do because I have 6 different groups of questions. So worry not. I'm gonna send everyone quizzes flatten. Okay. Guys, for those who are not very much familiar, for this quiz, we have just 6 minutes. It's super simple. Yes, 6 minutes for the first quiz. That's the bonus quiz. Can you please just sit on this row? Everybody, I need to, that's quiet. Don't worry about that one. It's just not that easy. Get to just sit the other side. Let's see. Guys, whenever we start, no matter if you just want to ask for a paper or something, please do not talk because the others, they don't know that you are done or not. And then they're gonna say that Reza is bias or people can talk. Either of them is not what I'm looking for. So make sure that I can see the monitors. Thank you. And the game is like this. The game is like this. Sergey, I'm gonna send you separately. It's gonna be 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so yeah. Can you please 1? You say 1. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, you know your numbers, right? Okay. If you please go to, no matter if you belong to this section or any other, please go to your course contents. You see that there is a folder, name, quizzes. There is one quiz 00. You see that? If you are group number 1, please open group number 1. If you are group number 2, please open number 2. And if you have any question from now on, please ask me. This is the bonus quiz, no more deducted. And I'm gonna pick 5 top quizzes out of 8. So don't worry if you do not answer the quiz that we have today. That's gonna be one of those 3 quizzes that you can just give up.
Thank you. Coming. We go down to the next set. Unapproval. When you see the. Just get three kinds again. Um. Let's see. Finish the pizza. Great job. Problem? Good. This is not the case. Okay. Okay. So. Last minute, if anybody could not finish, last minute, please try to wrap up. Yes, sir. You will construct, right? Awesome. For this one, it was not necessary to use constructor, but for the real one that we are gonna see. Okay, guys, that could be a kind of unnecessary, unintentional kind of thing. Please, some of you I saw that have tendency to talk to yourself during that's because of the stress. Please try to manage it because it's gonna give a stress to your friends. Okay? That's one thing. And in the quizzes, in the exam, especially in the exams, whenever you are done, I know that you're very much respectful to your friends. Most of the time you want just not to unintentionally, just, it's gonna just give stress to our friends. Not a bad idea. Before the test, just talk about what's gonna happen after you finish. Wait for your friends outside. It's not gonna impose any stress to them. You know what I'm saying? These are just, quizzes, not that important. I'm talking about the test. So the next thing, can I have everybody's attention? Time is up for this one.
You're gonna have the answers for this specific one, but for the next game, guys, the numbers would be like this: 3, 4, 3, 4. Are you ready for that game? So 3, 4, 3, 4. By the end of tonight, you're gonna have 6 different quizzes belong to all the different classes that they have. So what's your number? 3, 4. No, 3, 4, 3, 4. 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3. Awesome, lovely. You shouldn't see anything in quiz 1 yet. No matter which group, which class you are. Please refresh your page and you should see group 3 or group 4, whatever your number is, please open that question. Thank you. For this one, make sure you're gonna use constructor. Do you have any question? What was your number, Alpha? Yes, please. coming. Just saw it. I think so, Rishi can go home. Sorry. It's not possible to submit it because we don't have. So. Or we can pass, we have 5 out of 8. One of them is 2 of them, 3 of them. Very good. Thank you. Coming, just wait a second. Thank you very much. Awesome. Come on, sorry. Have a good one. Yes. Arjun, I'm driving with you, know. Fine, take care. Whenever, or whatever. You don't have to do the same, you just follow section 5. Thank you. You as well said. Worse. And one more sample as well. Makes sense. Sometimes you don't need, because this shows that you do the job, but the class activity is not aligned with what you do. Okay? So sometimes you can say that I did. Awesome, thank you. Does it show here? Does it show here? Go to the next one. Okay. Okay. Dots. Dots. Good. Stop. Open close parentheses. Why does it show? This one. This one. Break out. Okay. If they put some folder, then we're going to skip all this. Hi there. I'm just giving the credit, so we'll talk about that now. Thank you. And guys, the last 2 minutes, I'm gonna just walk and see how far you get. So the file doesn't show anything, so. Okay, you said that, it's console, it's not the same console. It's in pass, MOB1, MOB2, it's MOB1. Right, you can vote it before, but it's not about- Vote it. Send it before that. And to try and, I know, I tried that, and just visualize, there is a space there. So what's saying with that, I need to look at. Guys, can I have your attention before I start saying anything? If there is anything that you want to tell, I'm all ears. I can listen if you want to start saying anything. But if there is no point, so yes, you want to say something, Jordan? Yeah. Okay. So if we are here and we couldn't finish the job on time, it really depends on the amount of things that we could do. Among these friends that we have here, we have people that they finished almost everything. We had friends that they just missed or added some extra things like a parentheses. We had different variety of team members. But the thing is, I want to make one point very clear, because programming is not easy. And that is why they pay good to developers. If everybody could just define classes, constructors, and so on and so forth, then the price that they wanted to evaluate every hour would be $15, like Tim Horton job. But it's not, it starts from 37. And the reason for that is, this is not an easy job. And I don't know, I respect all my professors and everybody of my colleagues here. But the thing is, we have some friends that they get to object-oriented without enough practice for, I put it this way, we didn't have enough practice of coding in the first semester. What I see is it's like a gap that we already have. In order to find a solution, first we have to acknowledge that there is a problem. If you think that the problem is Reza, you have all the rights. And the good thing is, if you say that for any reason, I can't cope with Reza's class and approach, they're gonna just find you another spot. I don't want to go that route. I'm here to help. But if you think that Reza is a tough person, it's gonna be like this till the end of the semester. It's not easy for me. You see that I'm just running to just mark and see everything. And to be honest, I didn't feel well last night, and one of my friends said that, what are you doing? I was like, I'm designing the test for, okay, use the damn 2 sections that you already have. I said, no, it should be different from those groups. And I was up till 2:00 a.m. and I woke up at 6 o'clock. Now I'm at your service. So I try my best from my side, and it's a kind of teamwork. All of us should run. It's like a boat that we all should paddle at the same time, synchronously. So if there's a gap, I have already provided all the needed resources. I have provided all the needed resources. The first and every single session, you see that for every single minute, I have a plan. And I know that when I'm gonna just finish it. For the previous semester, if you think that, oh, I need to brush up my knowledge, the first post that you see in the Telegram group is the package that I have provided, have all the needed, it has all the needed files, plus the YouTube videos that I have provided for the whole semester, 12 different videos. We can just start from there. And if you miss the first session, the code is already on the YouTube. And sorry, I remembered that I have to finish recording this as well. Just give me a second, sorry.